Yo, JD here, to Limitless, and we're at Melbourne, AOR Season 9, the first race of this season, and I cannot wait for the season to get on the way because I feel in the previous seasons I could have got better results than what I did, and I feel this is probably my best chance now of actually trying to win the championship, because that's the aim, is to try and actually win it overall. And this track here is not really a particularly favourite track of mine. It's kind of probably a bogey track for me because of cutting and extending, and generally in previous seasons I've never been on the podium or really had a good result around here. So my aim for this race is to try and get a podium. If I could get a podium, that would be really good for me because I've got my other tracks, so I feel I've got a lot more pace. That we'll do around here. But as for this qualifying, as you can see, you've got 5 laps of fuel on board because you can go for 2-lap runs in this game since the Parc Fermé allows you to start new tyres for the race. And so far so good in this lap. Nothing dramatic happened, nothing blowing up apart from just we're a little bit wide there, just lost a bit of speed in the curb. But for this, Tigger and Rosberg, they've done 24s, and my PB is a 24/7, but I would say that's probably pushing the limit. So if I can get 3rd place maybe, or just the highest pad runner behind them two, that would be pretty good for me. And the lap's looking okay at this point in time. I was thinking, oh yeah, this is going pretty well. So the main aim really is just for the race. It's just to try and capitalise on the race, and I just a bit of understeer through there. The pad through there is just, and if you haven't driven it yet, it's a nightmare through there. Like Magnets, Beckett to Silverstone, it's just understeer city. But the rest of the lap seems to be going pretty well. And yeah, for the race, it's just to try and keep it consistent, try not to blow up or have a DNF, or hopefully not disconnect, because I did that here last season. So if we don't disconnect and just be consistent, then I'm pretty confident for a good result. And that's managed to put us 3rd place on the grid so far. But I'm starting another lap now because I've still got more fuel, and that first corner actually looked a bit better than last time. So always trying to improve it. You've got nothing to lose really, but it's quite nice to just try and get in that pretty much of a banker lap in quite early on in the session, because the last thing you want to do is go to the end of the session, you've only got one more lap left, and we've just gone out wide, so that lap's just blown up. So as you can see, at the end of qualifying, I didn't really improve my time. I got close at the end, but my last sector on my actual main lap, as you can see, for left right, even though I extended that chicane, I don't really think it did it in my favours, because normally I do like 33.5 last sector, so wasn't really that great. But still, starting 3rd place in the grid, and at this point in time, I didn't really want to do anything on the first lap. All I wanted to do is just maintain position, because you can't win it on the first lap, but you can certainly lose it. So at the start, I knew I was going to get better start than the wheel users, so I just wanted to just keep it cautious. And you'll also see here, I've got a pretty good start going up to Rosberg quite quickly. There's a gap on the right which I could have gone into, but I thought no, I'll just hold it around the outside. And so far so good, until wow, I actually just get blown up on the grass. And as you can see by the game chat, I'm going, well, obviously you can't hear it, but I wasn't happy at this point in time, and you could say the red mist had come down, and at this point I thought my race was pretty much over, because the pace of the guys out front with Rosberg, Tigger, Brozek and Leobot, I thought there was absolutely no chance that I'd be able to get a podium or a good result. So right now I'm pretty angry. As you can see, I'm just overdriving it a bit there, but on lap 2 I decided to just calm down a bit. And you just got to think to yourself, at these moments in time when something like that happens at the start of the race, you just got to pull yourself together really, and just try and focus on the long run of the race, because there's still 27 laps to go, so it's not like it's completely over. And as you can see from the mini-map as well, they're not exactly that far ahead really. They're about probably 6 seconds, I would say, something like 5 or 6 seconds ahead, so it's still doable. 27 laps, you can, as long as you're being consistently lap times, there's nothing to say that you could even win the race. So right now, I knew in practice I had quite a good pace around here, but It's just all the case of putting it together, because practice is one thing and actually doing it for real in a league race is another thing. It's pretty much like doing an exam. You can revise all you want, but you can just bottle it in the exam or just go blank or let the nerves get to you, really. And in this moment, I'm not really driving that amazing right now. It's just I'm getting frustrated behind Jambo and the other guys in front, because in order to get a good result, you just need to clear people as quick as possible, and the more time you spend behind people, the harder you go and make it for yourself at the end. So going to right hander here, pretty nice, and Jambo makes a slight mistake there, so I managed to get alongside him, put it into Rich to try and secure it first left right, and that's up into 5th place. So go from 9th to 5th in about a lap and a half is not really too bad, and just a bit of understeer the exit. And the next target is WL Montoya, who I've raced with before on quite a few occasions, and he's not exactly a slow person. He's pretty competitive, pretty quick on his day, so he could be quite a challenge to get past. And as you can see, the top 3, it just look like they're just breaking away a bit now. So right now, all I want to do is just get past him as quick as possible. And you managed to get DRS here, but we're not really closing in too well at the moment. But we'll forward on to later on the lap, and we've gotten a lot closer to Montoya now, and yep, getting really close to him, and we need to get past him as soon as possible, because the more we're still losing time. It looks like the front 3 are definitely pulling away now. So as you can see, I'm just overdriving it a bit here, just getting just a bit frustrated, getting wheel spin. I'm actually getting wheel spin on the pad, so you know I'm going a bit too early on the throttle, and the DRS is pretty effective. I'm getting quite close, but I'm just losing that traction in dirty air. And for this corner, I've got DRS again, but I'm just not close enough. It's just I need him to really make a mistake for me to get past. And at the moment, he's doing a pretty solid job of keeping it together. So yeah, all we can do now is just try and pressure him as much as possible, try and put him into a mistake, and he does make a bit of a mistake there. So getting his slipstream, see if we can actually make a move down this inside, and we managed to get along past him, but this corner really difficult spot, the breaking point, and he's just managed to hold it around the outside. So I was trying my best not to cut the corner, because I don't want to overtake someone by cutting the corner, and got another run on him again for this left right, and wow, we almost that could have been a hell of a lot worse than what it was. So that attempt was pretty much a fail, and we'll go skip ahead again and DRS again. And as you can see, we're getting close to him at the end of the straight, but just off this second corner, it's just a dirty air, and the DRS it's quite a short run down to turn 3. There's not really too much you can do. So I'm trying to pressure him as much as possible, but he's holding his own pretty well. And the front 3, it seems to be like Rosberg. I believe it's Rosberg in the lead at the moment. He seems to have brought out a nice gap, and I believe it's Leobot and Broziak in 2nd and 3rd, and we seem to be actually catching them. So right now the frustration is pretty much gone. I've calmed down quite a bit, pulled myself together, and we're actually catching 2nd and 3rd. So at this moment in time, I'm not really going to try and do a do or die move to try and get past Montoya, because we're already catching, and Rosberg, the wheel, their tyres seem to be going off pretty early. So the victory's still not out of question at all as we skip on to lap 7, and got a really good run on Montoya, and we actually bang it down the inside here. So that's a pretty good move, and I was really relieved when that happened. And we'll see from the next sector split. We'll see how far we're behind Leobot, and we're not a million miles behind. So I'm feeling as each lap goes by, I'm feeling pretty more optimistic about the race. I'm moving on to lap 9 now. I can tell you that everyone else has pitted. I think Rosberg pitted about 2 laps earlier, and Broziak and Leobot a lap before. So the options can last quite a while around here. From what I did 11 laps in practice, but the good thing is as well, when people pit a lap early, their tyres are actually quite cold, which is a good thing about this game. So it takes them a while to get up to speed. So I think actually doing undercuts in this game are a lot more difficult than what they were last game, because the tyres just didn't got up to temperature. As you can see, Rosberg, Brozak and Leobot gone past, and we're in 4th position, quite comfortably ahead of 5th place. So right now, skipping forward to lap 10, we've got Leobot on our sights, and oh god, he's actually had a massive lag spike. That's pretty unfortunate, and he's literally had about a 6 or 5 second lag spike there. So there's absolutely nothing you can do about that, and if I was him, I'd be so angry. But unfortunately, that's to do with the actual Xbox you have yourself, not to do with connection. So there's nothing you can do there. Luckily, my lag spikes only seem to last about a second or so. So yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. But still, for me, that only just benefits me. So I'm in 3rd place, and I'm about 5.6 seconds behind Brozak now, and we're forward onto lap 14. And Brozak's got into the lead at this point, and Rosberg, I think he's struggling quite a bit of tyre wear, but he's also on the prime tyre as well. So haven't got DRS, which I'm a bit surprised about on that straight, but right now Rosberg, we need to get past him as quick as possible, because Brozak's out in the lead on 1 lap older tyres than me. I believe he's on the option as well. So Rosberg, well, we go for a move here, we actually do, and I think he's been a bit too kind, if I'm being honest there. I don't know if he thought there was no point fighting me because I was on the faster tyres and newer tyres than him, but I expected him to fight that a little bit more than that, but nonetheless it's helped me. And the gap now is only 2.8 seconds between me and Brozak, so obviously having the fresher tyres, and I feel like I'm driving pretty well at this point. I'm just keeping it really consistent and nailing my apexes and corners, getting the throttle nice and early there. And we forward to lap 15, oh no, 16, 17, Jesus, 17, and the gap is less than a second, so we've closed him in pretty nicely as he goes out wide bit there, and I think he's starting to struggle in his tyres. And for me, at this point in the race, I was feeling so comfortable. I felt I could do another 2 to 3 more laps. So as you can see, we're just closing in on him by corner at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if he pits. And yes, he does pit, and we're obviously going to go for another lap because I still feel I have plenty of life left in my options. So the undercut, as I said, doesn't really work that well around here, and considering he's going to go on the primes are really slow in this game, so I would actually expect to actually gain time through doing this. But we make our way into the pits now. We just don't want to hit a wall or anything, because I've done that in practice. I've actually lost my wing actually going into pits. You just want to not lose any time, but you end up just blowing up or losing a wing or something. So going into the pits, luckily since I'm in the catering, the pit box is quite far down the grid, so I'm always able to check what tyres people want, if they're changing strategy and everything. But it will have to be prime for the end of this last stint anyway, because I've been on options throughout the whole stint. And coming out the pits, I think we've actually got ahead of Brozak, so the in-lap was pretty good. I still had plenty of life on my tyres, and I think his primes just take so long to get up to temperature because they're so cold. We just gained a massive advantage, and he's got the DRS. You've got to try and hold it around my outside, but we just managed to just hold him off there. And right now I have the full advantage. I'm in the lead. I'm on the fresher tyres, and it's mine to lose at the moment. And at this point, I couldn't believe that I've actually managed to do a comeback from where I was on the first lap to how far I was behind. It just shows that just having consistency and just having the mindset, you as long as you don't give up, then any result is possible. So coming on to lap 20 now, he's right on my DRS. I think my tyres are still trying to get up to temperature, and I wasn't expecting him to go for this move. I've moved slightly to the middle of the track to try and scare him off, but he banged it down the inside. Fair play, a little bit of contact. He's going to get the DRS again, and I'm just trying to make it as difficult as possible for him, to not try and squeeze him off the track obviously, but just try and make it as tight as possible for him, to just let him know that if he wants to try that again, it's going to be not an easy move to do. But Brozak's managed to get in the lead, and right now we just got to keep it nice and clean behind him, and we should, at this point, I'm in optimal fuel, but I haven't been enriched for the whole race. The fuel's doesn't really seem to change that much around here, but having a lap fresher tyres, I'm just going to bide my time. There's no point trying to getting past him as soon as possible, because we've still got 9 laps to go and he pitted a lap before me, so his tyres are actually going to be quite worn at the end of it. And it's a little bit understeer again, managed to close in a minute, and this is looking pretty good at the moment. Right now I'm thinking as long as I can get past him quite quickly and I can break his DRS, and again he just seems to lose a little bit of traction coming off there. Just right now, just try and get the perfect line for his last corner to try and get a really good exit, and he just seems to be struggling a bit on his tyres right now, and try and get in the throttle, getting the DRS going to full rich, and let's see if we can get past him down the straight. And we're closing, and we've got alongside him, going to turn 1, clip the curb, and then that's us into the lead. We've got a DRS advantage again for his next straight, and now it's definitely mine to lose. As long as I keep it consistent, I thought to myself, as long as I do that, then it should be a good result on track for the win. So Brozak's no slow guy. He's really competitive on qualifying. On the last game, he's probably one of the quickest guys over one lap. So he's someone you shouldn't really be written off. And what we'll be doing here, Brozak's getting quite close again, but I think he's actually made a mistake behind us on, because he's dropping back a little bit now. So he's still within DRS. We still just got to keep it smooth, and as I'm starting to crack under pressure a little bit there, but just gotta keep your head together. Just try not to look behind. The tip I always try and do is I just try and look behind. Pretty much, I just try and not look behind as much as possible, because it's not really going to do you any favours just looking behind. You've got the split sectors there. You can see it in the mini map. There's no real reason to look behind, because all we go do is just psych yourself out, and it's just not really going to do you that many favours at all. So lap 22, we've got 7 laps to go. Still going green in my time. Brozak is quite close. Yep, he's still right within my DRS. So just got to make sure for this last sector, particularly last corner, that you just get a really good exit. As long as you get a good exit, it should be quite difficult for him to get past. Coming into the penultimate corner now, he's still quite on my gearbox, as you can see by the arrow there, and it's very hard to follow a car through them dirty air, and he seems to have lost a bit of time there. I think he's made a mistake there, as you can see on the gap. And moving on to the next lap, he looks to be just about my DRS, but as you can see by his lap times now, you just got to start pumping in consistent laps, and you can see the gap is slowly starting to grow. So at this point I was feeling pretty confident, and the gaps, it just seems to be growing by about a few tenths a lap. So as long as you don't make any mistakes, it should be pretty well on the track for the win. And lap 26, towards the last 2 laps of the race, he did seem to catch me quite a bit again, like quite quickly, which I was really surprised about, because it's considering he's on older tyres. But again, I think his tyres in the last 2 laps, they just gave up, and you'll be able to see in the next lap, I think he made a mistake in the last lap as well. So overall, this race has been it hasn't been the most action-packed race in the world because of the number of runners, but next week we should be able to have a full grid, because I think quite a few people are on holiday this week and that. So next week should be a full 16, and it should be around Malaysia, which should be a really good race, because the tyres are pretty bad around there, and there's plenty of opportunities there to take. And as you can see, I think Brozak just made a mistake, or his tyres have just blown up there. So we've got a 2.5 second lead, but from looking at the mini map, it should be quite a bit bigger now. And the race from the first lap, I really didn't expect to have a good result around here, and considering how far I was behind, I just thought a podium was out of the question, or a top 5 wasn't possible. But it just shows really what, as long as you don't give up and you put in the consistent times and you don't lose your head completely, it shows that anything's really possible. You've got a full race. So even though I've rage quit in the past, it just shows that as long as you keep it together and not give up, then anything's possible really. So making our way through the last lap now is just keeping it on the road, just not losing a wing or anything, or spinning or anything, or getting on an auto spin curve. It's just keeping it together, keep it on the right lines, hit the apexes, and we're going through the penultimate corner now and made a bit of mistake there, so I think that's the sign of the tyres were actually starting to go off just there. And we've managed to win the first round of AOR Season 9, so I'm absolutely ecstatic. It feels so good to actually win round there, because I don't think I've ever done that in a league race, and to be leading the championship after the first round, never done that before. So my aim is just to try and keep up those performances, keep it consistent as Matty G did last season. Consistency is key. Thank you for watching. Hopefully my commentary wasn't too bad. I've never ever done it before, so hopefully it's something you'll enjoy, and see you next video. Cheers.